Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
The Knicks' late-game magic continued with yet another 20-point comeback against the Celtics. And the Thunder's defense suffocated the Nuggets in Game 2. Plus, those trading George Pickens to the Cowboys make sense for either side.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
It's a bad year to be a top seed in the Eastern Conference. The number 1 and number 2 seeds now both 0-2 to start. The New York Knicks come back again to beat the Boston Celtics 91-90. Jalen Brunson is the hero again. The Boston Celtics offense falls apart late again. Alex Wolf with us again this postseason from Locked On Knicks. And Alex, this has been the Knicks MO all year, really going back to last year as well. Jalen Brunson is, of course, the clutch player of the year. So we expect this in these moments. But what was special tonight? What was the difference tonight for New York?
I still don't totally know yet, if I'm being completely honest with you.
You're used to being on the other end of this. The Knicks are used to the heartbreak, and now they're just sort of like, wait, what are we doing here? This is crazy.
Yeah.
How much? Let's do it this way, Alex. How much of the Celtics offense going to sleep in the fourth quarter of both of these games is the Celtics doing some Celtics stuff, and how much of it is the Knicks just finding answers consistently, including on the last possession when Jason Tatum has the ball with a chance to go win the game and can't even get a shot off?
I think the Knicks going to this scheme where they're more comfortable switching has completely redefined this series, and it's completely different than what they've done for pretty much the whole regular season. I mean, the Knicks just got annihilated by the Celtics team over and over and over again this year, and the struggles against top 2 teams in either conference for this Knicks team are like very well documented. They sucked against the Celtics. They sucked against the Cavs. They sucked against the Thunder. Like all the best teams in the league, they just were terrible against because they played drop coverage. That's Tibbs's preferred way of playing, which is to have the center kind of hedge back and get ready to defend the rim, but at the expense of leaving shooters open. And the Knicks have instead just decided to trust their guys, and it's been huge. Like trusting Jalen Brunson in big possessions against a Jaylen Brown when, he's gotten strips in this series so far, like trusting Karl Anthony Towns on an island against someone in single coverage on the perimeter. That's sort of been the difference so far, because then that allows your best defenders to go on someone else who's maybe less dangerous and then come over and help. And that's what we saw in that last possession is Jason Tatum trying to find a window and then running into the guys that the Knicks built this defense around in the offseason. OG Anunoby with what at the time would have made him the most highly paid Knick in history with his new contract, which of course was usurped by Karl Anthony Towns shortly thereafter. But like the guy that they've handed out the biggest contract to in franchise history and the guy that they spent 5 picks on in the offseason, getting to do what they do best, which is stifle the best wing on the other team. A lot of that doesn't happen if they keep playing drop, which they like inexplicably did decide to go to in the second half. But like, again, as much as I've crapped on Tibbs, as much as Gavin has crapped on Tibbs this year, we've both been very critical of him at different moments. Like he's had enough thought in his head to say, let's keep doing the switch thing, go back to switching. And it has turned this entire second round on its head already. And the Knicks have now gone from, what were they, like freaking plus 6,000 or something to win this series to now statistically they have an 85% chance to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in over 20 years.
Yeah, now the Cavs are on the ropes. They're banged up. They're down 0-2. And we could get Knicks Pacers again. Hopefully the Knicks stay healthier this time around. Has this series through the first 2 games made you recalibrate what the ceiling for this Knicks team is?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm allowing myself to dream delusions of grandeur at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's tough not to. I didn't think this team had this in them. I'm going to be completely honest, and I'll be, we've had people in our YouTube comments being like, you guys weren't real fans. You're not like, you didn't think they were going to win going into the series. It's like no one did. I admire the delusion it takes to think that going into this series, the Knicks had a realistic chance of winning this thing. Like, I wish I could think that way, but unfortunately I've been wired differently where I need to see to believe. And I've now seen, and I now feel like I can believe. Like, for a town that's like, so they have certain franchises like the Yankees, that like have won a ton, but like for the most part, despite being the biggest market in the country, the New York market pretty much just deals with a bunch of perennial failures that every once in a while catch lightning in a bottle and make you like believe. And I'm starting to, I'm lucky enough to be a Mets fan too, based off last year with the really fun NL conference championship, NL championship series run. And I'm starting to get that same sort of feeling now that I had in the fall, which is like, you dare to believe a little bit. And that's where I'm at with the Knicks right now. It's unfamiliar territory, but I'm soaking it in. This is crazy. And this was one of the craziest 2-game stretches that I can ever remember in my time as a sports fan across all sports.
You can stay up to date all year on the New York Knicks by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Knicks on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, the Thunder storm past the Nuggets in Game 2. Before we get to that, the Warriors are going to have to win without Steph Curry. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, you'll have multiple qualified candidates to choose from. And you can create cost-effective growth for your company instead of hiring full-time. Upwork helps find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Will be without Stephen Curry for at least a week after the superstar guard suffered a grade 1 hamstring strain in Game 1 against Minnesota. It's the first muscle strain injury of Curry's career, and he'll miss at least the first 4 games of this series. Golden State has won without him before. They're 9-3 in the playoff games without Steph, but this is the first time they'll try it without the firepower of past dynasties. Klay Thompson, for example, not walking through that door. As Steve Kerr put it, this whole thing is about Steph. And now they'll have to keep it going without him. Heartbreak all over again for the Celtics, who blew another huge lead against the Knicks.
Boston Celtics are in a 2-0 hole in the Eastern Conference semifinals. No one saw that coming. Celtics had suffered a similar fate as they did in Game 1, where they built a 20-point lead late in the third quarter. They gave it up partly at the end of the third quarter as the Knicks walked it down. And in the fourth quarter, they completely collapsed. The Knicks made a ton of shots. The Celtics went more than 8 minutes without scoring a basket. Peyton Pritchard hit a three-pointer with 8 and change to go in the game. They didn't make a field goal until Tatum's dunk to take a lead late in the game. So the Celtics now find themselves in a 2-0 deficit after losing both games at home. A weird second round for every home team continues, and now they've got to go and be the road warriors that they were all season long. Win a couple on the road, get home court back somehow, and try to get back into this series. It's a weird situation for the Celtics to be in. The Knicks, credit them, they don't die, they hit clutch shots, and the Celtics do not look like a champion. They do not look poised, and they are in danger. They are actually in danger of being bounced in the second round.
Over in the show, Juan Soto and the Mets cruise past Arizona.
A simple formula for the New York Mets today. Some excellent defense and Juan Soto being Juan Soto. The Mets picked up their first series win in a little bit, taking the last game from the Arizona Diamondbacks by a final score of 7-1. They helped Kodai Senga work out of some trouble in the first couple of innings behind some excellent defense. Everybody contributed. Luis Torrens threw out a runner, stealing a base. A relay from the outfield throws out a runner at home. Torrens made another great play behind the plate. The Mets played some great defense after being sloppy the night before, and it is another multi-home run game for Juan Soto against the Diamondbacks, his second of the season. He's up to 7 home runs on the year. 4 of them have come against this team. It is a very welcomed off day for the Mets now with this series win in their back pocket. They'll return home to take on the Chicago Cubs starting on Friday.
And the Panthers tried to strike back against the Leafs.
Make it 2. The Toronto Maple Leafs take a 2-0 series lead after beating the Florida Panthers in Game 2. I'm David Morcity from the Locked On Leafs podcast, and it was Mitch Marner getting the game-winning goal, and there were a lot of timely goals from the Leafs in this game. Max Pacioretty getting the Leafs on the board after Florida scored first. William Nylander scoring on a great 2-on-1, as well as Max Domi, who also scored in this game. So a lot of guys from different parts of the lineup all contributing in this game, and the Leafs did exactly what they needed to do in this game, which was focus on what was happening on the ice and not the stuff that was going on off the ice with the Sam Bennett, Anthony Stolarz part. They put that past them. They made sure that this game was the priority, and they did just that. Now they go down to Florida looking to take hopefully put the pressure on the Panthers and maybe get a 3-0 series lead, or even better as the series now shifts to Sunrise. We'll break it down on the Locked On Leafs podcast, where we'll go through everything that went the Leafs way, some things maybe they'll need to work on going into the next game, and hopefully setting up for a big chance to move on to the conference final. Keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.
The Oklahoma City Thunder locked in after going down 0-1 to the Nuggets and cruised in Game 2. Locked On Nuggets host Matt Moore broke down the beatdown.
Well, can we start here? This is what should have happened in Game 1, and Game 1 is what should have happened in Game 2. We got it wrong. We're sorry. This sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the problem is the context changes there. I hear what you're saying, and I'm with you, because it's like, man, if we flip these results, we would have looked so smart. Here's the thing, though, is like,
but we're not.
Denver got that game, so that changes the approach for both teams, right? Like, yeah. OKC doesn't come in, OKC did not come out trying to kill them in Game 1. OKC was, and we see this in a lot of these series, why the road teams have done so well is like a lot of these home teams are like, okay, we'll just kind of settle in here and, get warmed up a little bit. And bam. Okay. All right. You hit me in the face, but like, it's a fine. We're just going to bam. Okay. Like, that's what happens is like they're bleeding and busted open and concussed, and then they don't get up. And then this one, it was like, look, they were down 0-1. You have to come out and do this, or you wind up like Boston.
Yeah. Like
they just watched the Boston Celtics blow a 20-point lead in that locker room. That guarantee you that TV was on. And the Thunder came out and did what they had to do. Like the Thunder had to respond in this game, and they did. And we will talk about the officiating, because like I was like, I don't really want to talk about it. I don't think it was
they're down 47.
But it's 47. Like, yeah, no amount of officiating changes this. The Thunder came out, took the ball from you, pressured Jamal Murray, cut off the oxygen, got in passing lanes, forced turnovers, scored super efficiently. The defense is honestly the biggest problem. Like, that's the bigger thing that probably is like, okay, guys, like they're now in rhythm and have showed some stuff. You're going to have to really bring it again in Game 3 in order to get that offense cool back down again, because you can't win these fights with the amount of firepower that OKC brings to the table with, like, if their shooters are going to hit shots. Now, maybe they won't on the road. That's a fair point. But Denver's effort on a starting level has got to be better, or this is what happens. But it's also like, look, it's the Game 2 thing that I've talked about. Like, they suck in Game 2s. They're not good in Game 2s. Adam was commenting on this after, I think it was CT was the one that tweeted it. There's always a game in the series where the Nuggets get absolutely blown out, just like erased off the map, and it doesn't matter. And in previous series, I've overreacted to those games. And honestly, like, if it wasn't for the Clipper series, I would be overreacting right now and be like, But also it's like, look, they got the split. That's all you needed. You were the dog. You needed to get a split, go home, win 2 games. You win 2 games in a row versus OKC, and it is 3-1, and it's not done, but you've done the job of putting yourself in the position that you need to. People are mad because I said was like, look, now OKC's done what they needed to, because now OKC can get a split and go back being like, all right, we just got to win 2 out of 3. We're fine. It's a 2 out of 3 at home. And people were like, they just won in OKC. I get it. Denver needs to win too, because they need to put the Thunder as far to the edge as possible, because OKC has a better team. I cannot sit here and tell you that the Denver Nuggets have a better team than the team that won 60 whatever games and have the best point differential in NBA history. They don't have to win. They don't have to be better than them. They just have to be better than them in this series 4 times. That's it. And they've got 1. They got to do it 3 more times, and that's it. But to put them at the edge is really important. That's all I was trying to say. The Nuggets can win the series if it's 2-2, head back to OKC.
Yes.
Nuggets can win this game in 6 if it goes back to OKC 2-2. But for OKC, they needed to get off of the panic ledge that Cleveland and Boston are now in, which is you lose game 3 and your season's over. It's done for them. And now OKC gets to play a little bit easier and breathe. That's it.
And you're right about that. They watched both of those teams, Cleveland and Boston, go down 0-2 when they were at home. And I think they realized to themselves, hey, we've got an opportunity here if we don't screw this up. We know that Denver's not going to bring their best stuff. And Denver clearly didn't. This was, I think, part of it. Denver allowed themselves to go down 24 points in that first quarter, and a lot of it was self-inflicted. That was not ref stuff. That was not like, I thought the ref stuff really came in like late second quarter and then through the third quarter. That it was mostly then. It was when the game was kind of out of reach already. But like, Denver did this to themselves in the first quarter by not hitting the open shots that they were generating, by not doing the right things. Jamal was not bringing the right energy. Jokic started the game 2 of 7. And Mike, like, we can get into this now. Mike kind of looks worse for wear in this series. It started out, I think, 1 of 13 in the series overall. And I don't know where he plays in this moment. He did get a couple of shots to go, but like, that might be an adjustment that Denver makes, is they might actually pull the plug and decide to start Russ.
No.
It's just never going to happen.
I'll bet you dinner right now that the MPJ will start every game of the series.
All 5 of them?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. No, I think that.
Jeez, Ryan. Come on.
No, I'm joking. We're having fun here. I'm actually okay, because this is kind of what I expected. This is not I was ready for this moment in game 1, and then Denver had a fantastic win. And you're right. They did the work. They did the job. This looked like a team that knew they got the split already and was more than comfortable going home 1-1.
Stay up to date all year on the Denver Nuggets by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Nuggets on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Coming up, George Pickens is out of Pittsburgh. The NBA playoffs roll on, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. FanDuel makes betting easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. There's so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Steelers wide receiver George Pickens is headed down to Dallas. Our Locked On Cowboys host Marcus Mosher is thrilled with the addition, while Locked On Steelers host Chris Carter is irate.
The Dallas Cowboys finally get their number 2 receiver. Hey, it's Marcus Mosher from Locked On Cowboys, breaking down the George Pickens trade that happened early on Wednesday morning. The Cowboys give up a 3rd and a 5th round pick for Pickens, who now is widely expected to be their number 2 receiver. There's some obvious concerns with Pickens, but the Cowboys had major needs at the wide receiver position, and they really needed somebody who could stretch the field vertically, and that's what Pickens can do for the Cowboys offense. He gives them a big-time receiver on the outside that can make plays down the field, that can make plays after the catch, and now CeeDee Lamb can operate out of the slot. They still have Jalen Tolbert. They have Jonathan Mingo. They are just in a much better spot at the wide receiver position than they were yesterday. Again, some obvious concerns inside the locker room that need to be hammered out, but the Cowboys got better today.
What do you mean they're trading George Pickens? Sources have ranged in from everywhere that the Steelers are indeed trading George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys for a third-round pick and pick swaps. And I got to say, I have been on board with a lot of the Steelers' plans this offseason. Getting a defensive tackle, investing in the defense, trading for DK Metcalf. I thought that they had it lined up. But RIP, weapons of past destruction, I have to say I am not on board with this plan. Not because I think George Pickens by himself is like the future of the franchise that was going to define everything, but because I saw the understanding of pairing him with DK Metcalf with the current balance of the Steelers offense. I thought it made a whole lot more sense to keep that guy in the fold. Get one more year out of him. He was going to have the best pairing of a wide receiver he's had in his career with DK Metcalf next to him.
If this were just about the play on the field, George Pickens would be worth more than a third-round pick. And Pittsburgh would probably just be keeping him. Pittsburgh probably never would have traded for DK Metcalf. Once the Metcalf trade happened and they paid him all of that money, you can't have two mercurial deep threats on the same team. And we knew ahead of time, once you trade for DK, it is a tacit admission that you're getting out of the George Pickens business. What's crazy is you couldn't get this done before the draft. Maybe the Cowboys weren't willing to offer before the draft. Maybe they thought they were getting Tetairoa McMillan, but he went before they had a chance to pick at 12. So the Cowboys got a little desperate. I personally would not have wanted to give up a top 100 pick on a player that even the Pittsburgh Steelers are going, nah, we're good. And go back and look at the history of Steelers receivers who produced in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh decided, nah, we're going to move on. And what those players did elsewhere, Chase Claypool, not even in the NFL anymore, Martavis Bryant, Juju Smith-Schuster, we have seen this over and over in the last decade. Players produce in Pittsburgh, they look really good, they get paid elsewhere or they get traded elsewhere, and they do nothing. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case here, but it's one of those things where if Pittsburgh is saying, hey, this receiver, we don't want to pay him, you take him, that would be enough for me to go, no thanks, I'll let someone else do it. And finally, goodbye Utah Hockey Club. Hello, Utah Mammoth. After over 850,000 fan votes and a little trademark drama, Salt Lake City's NHL team finally has its new name. The team says Mammoth reflects Utah's ancient past and future identity, complete with a tusked logo, mountain imagery, and a rallying cry, Tusks Up. Jerseys are coming soon. A mascot is on the way, and the era of the Mammoth has officially begun. Honestly, this has a chance to be one of the best mascots in sports from the rip. I can't wait. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, how will the Warriors handle the Timberwolves without Stephen Curry? So at least until tomorrow, stay Locked On Sports Today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.